Wong Kar-wai.
Did I call him Wong or Juan?
I don't know.
Alright, so. You should probably hold the box set because I got the up arm. So, what do you know about Wong Kar-wai? I know he directed Chungking Express, I think. That's how you say it. I'd have to look at it. And that was on my watch list, and Criterion put out a big box set. That's his... He's from Hong Kong. That's pretty much all I know. When Criterion announced it, I was like pretty excited because I like the idea of getting these box sets of just one director and kind of diving into them. You got it though during the Criterion sale, so loopholed a little bit. It's a wacky box set. It's a really wacky design on how it is. So the idea for this video, this is going to be a pretty relaxed video. Me and her, my wife, are going to dive through Wong Kar-wai's filmography in this box set. We're going to go in chronological order from when he released it to the most recent that's in this set. We're going to watch the movie, and then afterwards, we're just going to kind of talk about it for a little bit, and then move into the next one. Got anything to add to it? So this is going to be a long journey for us. It could be a long video, but it's hard to tell. So we're going to jump into... I probably should have looked to see what the first movie was before we started this. If you want to try to unfurl this thing. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Like... Okay, so if you grab it... As Tears Go By is our first one. So we're going to jump into As Tears Go By, and we'll see you back after the movie. Okay, so we just finished As Tears Go By from 1988. Our first dive into Wong Kar-wai, which I think I was calling him Wong Kar-wai earlier. I'm not sure, but what did you think? What was your thoughts?
Only Dr. Gibbs and Drive, which kind of taught me about that during the movie. And what I got was just pops of color set, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really visually pleasing.
I definitely feel like, I don't know if Refn has ever said it, but I definitely feel like Wong Kar-wai could have been an inspiration for Refn, because I kind of got a lot of Refn's visual style, and just in this first movie, there, like you said, there's a lot of use of like neon signs and like colored lighting and stuff, but it's not like the whole shot. It's like set to use the background and stuff like that, and visually it was very visually interesting because he kind of gets away with it by shooting in this kind of interesting industrial city that is full of all those lights and everything. A lot of red, green, and blue in this movie too.
And I did notice in the scenes where he was going full saturation, the main object of focus would be swapped. So the main focus would be the more muted color, like white.
Good morning, Pigeon, Darius, L, Mix/'s wife, and Darius once again. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. First and foremost, thank you, Pigeon. We have a new emote available, and it is, do I have the access to the emotes? I do. It is the Salt emote. Pigeon made this up. It's really awesome. I love it. Thank you again, Pigeon. What's up, White Lotus? We got the Salt emoji based off my little lizard Saturn. Hi, buddy. Dog bringing in his chicken. So today we're playing Esper Blade, Esper Artifacts once again. Super excited about this because now we're kind of doing something a little bit different. This is a deck we've been working on. It's been a little bit of a pet deck. We've been working on a little bit, submitted by Raging Bull, where we're trying out different things, trying to get this deck humdrum and running. And this is a deck that can just win kind of, I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but it can just like have a really quick clock. So what are we doing with this deck? Well, land-wise, we're being pretty greedy and playing nothing but artifact lands, which is pretty vulnerable, but it's kind of, kind of important to have these lands to trigger what we're doing. So we have 4 Ancient Dens, 4 Goldmire Bridges, 4 Mistvault Bridges, 2 Razortide Bridges, 2 Seed of the Snood, and 3 Vault to Whispers. So, just in the Esper colors, we are playing 8 Tooth, yes. Yes, we have 2 Arcbound Mausers, so we went down from them. We have 4 Blood Fountains, which is pretty important for this deck. For when we enter in the battlefield, we get to have 2 tokens enter in for the price of 1, which is pretty important. We're also up 4 Greatswords. I don't know how good Greatsword actually is, but we won every game we played a Greatsword last time we played this deck, I'm pretty sure. So let's put in more Greatswords, see how that runs for us. Also triggers our dorky dudes. We are down in creatures. So we're still running 4 Mandible Justicars, 4 Volt Scourge, and 4 Glaze Fiends as our big ones. But we are down 2 Arcbound Mausers. Mandible Justicar and Glaze Fiend have the same ability, but they're a little bit different. Mandible Justicar has Lifelink, is a 2/1 that whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under our control, it gets +1/+1 to end a turn. Glaze Fiend is whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, Glaze Fiend gets +2/+2 to end a turn. Then Vault Scourge is the 1/1 flying lifelinker. We have 3 cast downs, 4 Deadly Disputes, and 4 Thought Casts as our other cards. But then we're playing our new cards that we're trying out. Scale of Chisgora and Tooth of Chisgora. Now, Scale we played last time. Something this deck is very, very vulnerable to is removal spells that, like board wiper spells, excuse me. My sinuses are brutal today. Our board wiper spells that kill off our little dice. Our guys are dorky. They're all like 1/1s, 2/1s, everything like that. The Greatsword can build them to where they're actually pretty large and in charge. But these scales are going to act as almost removal buffers. Like for the most part, we're going to probably hold these in hand and then trigger them for combat math or for protection. Now, Scale was really solid the last time we played it for board wipers. It triggers Justicar, it triggers Glaze Fiend, and then you can tap it to give creature +0/+1. So there's a good chance that we protect our cards. Like Glaze Fiend, a Scale will negate a Lightning Bolt. So those are all things that are worth noting. A Scale can also stop a Fiery Cannonade, a Breath Weapon, Suffocating Fumes, Arms of Hadir, all that stuff. Scale can just flat out negate, which is pretty solid. Has affinity for artifacts and flash, so we can just dump this at any time for free. And it's almost always free because our entire deck, besides our reactionary cards, are artifacts. Then we also have Tooth. Now, Tooth is the same thing, but it gives it +1/+0 into a turn. So Tooth we throw down for combat math to hopefully close out a game a little bit quicker. So potentially, you know, we could just dump a couple of these in one combat turn and maybe just close the game out altogether. And that's kind of what we're going to try out and see what happens. Sideboard-wise, it's pretty much exactly the same. 2 Arms of Hadir, 1 Chainers, 4 Hydroblasts, 2 Recommissions, 4 Revokes, and 2 Veldkin Outlanders. So pretty much the same thing we've had going on. Arms goes for the go wide decks. Chainers goes for the Bogle chainery decks we need. Hydroblast, self-explanatory. Recommissions for all the removal decks. Revoke for artifacts and enchantments, and then Veldkin for burn. So that's what we got going on. I'm excited. Let's get into some games. We've played this deck quite a bit in the past, so I'm pretty excited about trying this out with the 8 Scale Tooth, the 8 Chiz effects. Where's it at? There's too many decks. I wish you could type in, like, well, I don't know why Magic hasn't added in an option to good tier deck, please. Well, oh, a lot of people out playing today. How's everybody's day going? We're Friday. We're leading into the weekend. New emote unlocked. If you want to have a chance to cast the Salt emote, then oh, there goes like a whole flock of deer. Then consider becoming a member. $1 membership. Link in the description. Get you access to the custom emotes, the community Discord server, which has been awesome to like just hang out in, and name turns green, you get a little badge, name in a beginning and after credit scroll. So we mulligan this, no land, one lander. This is a mulligan again. Oh my goodness. All right, I guess we're going down to 4. Going to see Tyler Childers tonight. Get to leave work early. It's going to be a great day. That's awesome. I know the name why is that so hard for me to say? Hold on, we got a bottom 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Tyler Chowders. I feel like I'm saying Chowders. I've heard the name before, but I've never listened to music. I'm assuming it's country. I'm not a big country fan. I like older country, like Johnny Cash. I guess I like Hank Williams 3 too. Man, we kept a bad hand for this matchup. We do have lifelink, but this Arcbound Mauser's probably going to die pretty quick. If we're not dead on turn 3, that is. Which is a big possibility. That we're just dead on turn 3, so we'll see. Our mana's a little awkward for this great sword too. He's one of the newer batch of guys keeping classic country style alive. Childers? Okay, so it's like Childers. I want to say like Childers, you know, is what my brain wants to say. Okay, this is like a bushwhack version. All right. I don't even really want them to know exactly very much of what's going on with our deck. Bringing these in. I love this list. I'm a huge fan of this list too. We'll bring all these guys in. I think I don't even know what we go down. Our deck's pretty trim. I think we can go down a couple great swords. We're going to bring in this dude who's pretty strong. Let's go out 2 Tooths. And 1 Vault Scourge. Go down 1 cast down since we're bringing in Hydroblast. Run it like that. We could potentially bring in arms because they might have Kodatha. They probably have Kodatha. Dang it. I was like, if we have a chance, I'll just get rid of the 2 cast downs to bring in arms here. Alright, this is a better hand. Keep. Opponent playing Crack the Earth, though, is pretty spicy. I'm going to lead with Hydroblast open. We have all of our colors without a tap land, so like that's pretty good. I wish we had a Tooth or something. I'm going to play this Glaze Fiend, but I'm going to only play it when I have backup. Goblin Sledder. That's fine. It's not Swifty. I'm most positive they're playing Kodatha. Well, if we get to game 3, Arms of Hadir is definitely coming in. Tooth. Okay. Tooth is kind of cool. I wish it was Scale, though, because Scale would protect Glaze Fiend better. So the question is like, let's just play Volt Whispers. We can hold up Cast Down. Hold up Cast Down. And the next turn we can hold up Glazed Fiend and Hydroblast. I'm fine with taking this here. Mog Raider. Okay. Could just be goblins, honestly. Like, that could just be what's going on here. Let's just kill this now. Oh, Blood Fountain. Glaze Fiend, and we'll hold up Hydroblast for the Glaze Fiend potential removal. Again, Tooth doesn't save this like Scale does. Scale would be a lot better. Potentially have 8 power on board. I built my girlfriend a goblin deck to teach her how to play. My wife's like first deck was goblins too. The Gerblins. Let's make them have 2 kill spells if they want to kill this Glaze Fiend. Synthesizer, sure. Do you guys find the emote legible enough? I feel like the flames at the bottom make it a little bit messy when it's small. I think it's fine. Do another version without it in no time. I think it's fine. I like it the way it is. I'll just be honest with you. I like it the way it is. Reckless Abandon. Are you going to do it? No. I want to keep my Glaze Fiend, please. Goblins are the best deck. I play with Chaos. Mandible Justicar is pretty interesting, actually. I'm just going to punch him here and then hold up the Tooth and the Blood Fountain. Punch him for 4. Tooth and Blood Fountain makes everything bigger next turn. Yeah, if you were Scale, I would feel a lot better, but this not being Scale is pretty upsetty spaghetti. Makes it a little bit more shaky. And our opponent's an aggro burn deck with 5 cards in hand still, so you know what I mean? I think the emote looks great. Yeah, I think the emote looks great too, Pigeon. Like, I really like it a lot. They kicked the Bushwhacker. That's weird. Sticky Fingers. Menace Haste. Huh. Well, hopefully that's all they got for this turn. Because next turn we're going to hammer them pretty hard. And we're going to gain, hopefully, a bunch of life. They did get a treasure token, which sucks. Let this... Okay, we're safe. $11. This should kill them. Don't think they have anything that deals damage to kill any of these. Yep. Okay. Cool. Well, we did it. We comboed out. I'm gonna bring in the Arms of Fadir and go down the cast downs. Run it back. That was our combo play. Punch in with a ton of damage. We did it. It felt pretty good. 8 plus 6. Were they dead there? Oh, I guess the tooth. I don't know if they were dead there or not. Hey, thanks for the subscription, Francesco. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. I like this deck a lot. I feel like this deck just keeps getting a little bit better as time goes on. Our problem, though, is our opponent's going to be on the play. And I feel like our opponent can have a lot faster of, oh, if we had one more land. I think we got a mulligan this. We have a lot of good stuff, though. All right, I'll keep this. Lot of stuff. Probably have to bottom the Goldmire Bridge, I would say. Lead on Justicar. It's not as... I guess we could lead on Glaze Fiend. No one... Okay. I was like, please no one turn 1 Swifty again. Okay, we get another Justicar. Our opponent could have Exile Artifact, which would suck for our lands. Like I said, that's one thing about this deck. We're playing very vulnerable mana structure. They're going to Sticky Fingers instead. Sticky Fingers is seeming pretty cool. I'm kind of liking that card. I don't know how competitive it is, but I am kind of liking it. Taro over here, getting sticky. If we could build to an Arms of Hadir, that'd be pretty sweet. We have a litany of Mandible Justicars. So it's like we can either play Mandible or we could play Glaze Fiend. Glaze Fiend probably, I don't know if I'd say chumps better, but Glaze Fiend gets out of burn range a lot easier with scale. Let's lead with Glaze Fiend. Our opponent is down to 2 cards in hand. But this card, is it just when it dies? Okay, it's when it deals combat damage, they get a treasure token, but when it dies, they get to draw a card. Okay. It's kind of interesting. Our opponent's going to come punching in. There's no doubt about that. The question is whether or not if we want to block them. I think we just hold up scale. We're not in like a super vulnerable position right now. Next turn we'll play Mandible Justicar. We're just holding up the scale for another Volder and Epicure. Get more blood tokens. Kind of just holding up this scale for protection. We're drawing all of our combo pieces, which is cool, but also at the same time, like, I would prefer to, like, I would prefer land and, like, Arms of Hadir, because our opponent's going to build a board probably too fast for us to be able to, like, keep up the race. We could also play scale and block a card next turn. Sacrifice a Goblin. That's kind of important for Goblin Sledder's ability. We could just trade Adjustable Mana card to gain 2 life. To, like, try to negate them for a turn, you know? That's also something we could do. Because we have a lot more of them, you know? In the festivities. Scale. Now this may prevent them from attacking here. We presented scale. You know, a 3/2 lifelinker that we can just easily chump with and gain 4 potentially. Or they might try to dump more cards out of their hand to kill off our stuff. 2 damage to it. So 1. We can't protect it with scale. So we lose our Justicar, but they wasted 2 cards, which feels pretty good. And scale permanently keeps one of our creatures alive from in the festivities unless they get rid of it. And they are down to 1 card in hand, but they do have blood tokens. So they do have redraws. We get a deadly dispute, which I'm kind of a fan of. It's going to deadly dispute now. Try to find some cards here. Okay, cool. Cool. Vault of Whispers, and let's play another Justicar. Punch you for 6. It would have been nice to grab another scale or another tooth there, but we did find some land. But they play in the festivities. You know what I mean? It is what it is. They're going to start cycling for stuff here. Got to keep in mind a Forked Bolt, too. Swifty. They're down to 1 card in hand. They're going to play it or they're going to cycle it. Sticky fingers on Swifty. Pretty good. But they are out of cards. Now, we could just chump here, or we could just take 5. I think I'm just going to take 5. No, they're going to hold back the Sledder. That's interesting. Sure. I'll take the 4. We're going to at least punch him for a couple next turn. So I'm kind of fine with this. Awesome. So we can kind of just dump our hand here. Yeah, I want to stack this Mandible Justicar as much as possible so we can gain as much life here as possible. But there is an argument for not playing anymore. So we hit him. If we play one more, we hit him for... We gain 5, and we hit him for 6. They go down to 6. Then we have 2 artifacts to play if they don't board wipe us. So we have 2 draws to potentially fade a board wiper. So I actually think I'm just going to play the other Mandible Justicar here. And hope we fade a board wiper. It's a risky play, but we're playing a risky deck, so we got to roll that dice sometimes. Let's go in for 11. Gain us 5. And let's hope their draws are not good. I would block if I were you. It's like we beat you with the random tooth and scale last time. I think I would block if I were you. I wouldn't try to go to 1. Sure. Blanks my life link. Pretty good. I didn't think about that. That was not a reaction I was expecting. Come on, no in the festivities. They don't have in the festivities, they're dead just in the air. Even if they have one, I guess not. They could have 2. They could have a card to kill one of the Glaze Fiends, and then they're not dead. Um, 5 is probably the most damage they could do. They could Fire Blast, and then it goes up to 6. It has Menace, so I don't want to lose the other Glaze Fiend. Okay, so they only got us for 1 there. They're leaving back the Volder and Epicures for the Manable Justicar. Okay. Glaze Fiend. Do they have like some kind of like prevent combat damage trigger? That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? All right, we're empty-handed. They're cycling the lightning bolt. All right, we did it. We beat the goblins deck. We beat them. It felt pretty good. Like it felt like it was running like pretty strong, even on that game 3 where we didn't have like a super duper hand or anything. 1 land again. Mulligan. All right. This hand's pretty bad too. I'm just gonna scoop it to him, run it back. I don't know what's up with these draws. Oh, come on. I'm going to keep this. This is better, though. I'm not in love with it, but it is better. Can't quite turn 2 Thoughtcast, but we will get an Arcbound Mauser and a Volt Scourge down. And hope we can find mana off of Thoughtcast to cast the rest of our black cards. There's some shitty hands. Yeah, no kidding. I'm not gonna lie. Like most of this week, I felt like my draws have been like the worst draws. Like period. Just like I have not like had like what are we running mana wise? We're on 19 lands. Like I have just had the worst time getting lands in for sure. Squadron Hawk. I think this is probably where we just send the Arcbound Mauser in. Let's Thoughtcast. Can we get a black source? No. Can we get a black source? Hey. All right. I'm gonna play the other Vault Scourge here. I want to attack with both because I'm fine with the trade-off here. Because we have the other Vault Scourge. Just worth noting too, they probably has prismatic strands in this deck. I would be super surprised if they don't have prismatic strands. So something to keep in mind. We probably have to play around here. This is a matchup I think Glaze Fiend is actually going to be pretty solid in because it blocks these cards really well. No, not blocks, it attacks into these cards really well because it gets +2/+2 and has a 0/1 butt. A little bit stronger than Mandible Justicar is. Goldmire Bridge, sure. I think there's an argument here for not even playing Glaze Fiend quite yet. Or maybe there is. Let's play Glaze Fiend here. Because next turn we can Deadly Dispute the Arcbound Mauser, put the counter on Glaze Fiend. See what our opponent does. Because it's also not worth like dumping our hand for the Glaze Fiend. This is also a matchup that I think that the Great Sword is going to be pretty solid if we can find one. We can find a if we can find a Great Sword, we can keep their flyers. That'd be a great way to keep their flyers tapped down. And even though it prevents combat damage, Prismatic Strands does, it's 1,000% worth constantly attacking because our creatures just get huge. So actually, Great Sword would be an amazing draw here. That scale's not bad though. I like Deadly Disputing the Mauser here. Putting the counter on Glaze Fiend. Over Vault Scourge. Maybe I should have put it on Vault Scourge. Yeah, I should put it on Vault Scourge. Now we can hit him for a lot in the air here. And keep up Cast Down. Or we could play Cast Down. And hit him for a lot in the air. I guess we could just attack and see how they block, right? And then just leave Cast Down up. Just trying to debate here. I'm going to send in the dorks. That was a mistake. That was a super mistake. 2-1. Let's just punch him where it hurts. Hit him for 7. We still have Cast Down, and we're not like out with Mandible. Although the curve is low, the multiple color requirements will push a higher land count. Black and white are both needed by turn 2. There's only 11 black resources, 12 is the minimum. We can change out. We could scrub down a blue, because the only blue we're running is Sideboard and Thoughtcast. So we could trim down a blue. They might just be dead here. Like, yeah, they gain some life off of Veteran, but can we kill them next turn? 2, 4, 6. No. We hit him for 7, though. 8. 8 in the air. We could draw Tooth. Tooth might kill him. Let's lead on Thoughtcast. See if we can draw a Tooth or something. Okay, that probably kills him, right? That killed him? 3. 5. It's not tooth though, is it? 7. Let's just hit him for 8, leaving this other tooth in hand here. Yeah, we could trim out like a blue source for a black source. I think we're 4 in the Mistvault bridges though. Not Mistvault, the Goldmire bridges. We are, and we're 4 in there. So we could go down like a Razor Tide bridge and go up a Vault of Whispers. That also cuts out a tap land. I will say this. You're getting an awful annoying opponent with these Squadron Hawks here. Double hockey. These Lunarch veterans doing work for days for our opponent. I doubt they attack here, though. We have double scale, so I'd be really surprised if they attack here. They might attack with a 3-2, but even then, I'd still be pretty surprised if they attack. Yep, I didn't think they would. All right. Another mandible is kind of cool. Cast down one of the Squadron Hawks here. Mandible. They have to block a lot of stuff here. Worth noting, Lunarch Veteran to get it back is 2. They don't have Prismatic Strands yet, but I'm not saying they don't have it. Where's our Great Swords? Great Sword would be amazing in this matchup. Blocking there. I would block these dorks if I were you. Blocking there. That's it. 7. 8. It would take him to 2. Take him to 2, but then we have nothing in hand. So I'm fine with just taking him down to 4 here. I gain 8. I'm fine with this. We get a treasure token to help fix, but we need black to get it. True. That's what I think. I think we go down one of the Razor Tide bridges, goes up a Vault of Whispers. That's what I think. Because then we... Or do we need the white source too? Well, we don't have a dual... I'm just going to go down a Razor Tide bridge, go up a Vault of Whispers. We'll try that. It feels right. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. It feels right. They go up to 5 here. Don't know what they have in hand, but if I was them, I'd probably flash back. They scoop. Okay. Arms of Fadir definitely comes in. That's kind of all we have for this matchup. Just arms, which isn't great against Lunarch Veteran, but it's not bad either. We don't have any really good like graveyard interactions, do we? Their removal is probably going to be like Journey to Nowhere and Rally. That's probably what they're going to be doing. So I guess, do we want to bring in Revoke Existence, you know? Probably not. Definitely going to lead in the Scales, the Tooth, the Great Swords. Cast down's okay. So what do we bring Arms of Hadir in? Like, what do we take out for this? I'm just going to go down 2 Tooths. 2 Tooth, leaving the Scales. The Scales will be better for our combat math against them. Let's try the arms here. Get handsy a little bit. We don't have a creature, but man, if we get a creature, we're gonna be set. So part of me wants to keep this. Another part of me is like, we don't really have a redraw either, though. It's like, what's our probability we draw a creature by turn 2? We're testing the deck. Let's see what happens if we keep a hand like this, right? We draw a land. Anybody else either getting droughted or flooded and no in between? Just curious. I mean, I kept a 4-land hand, but like, just curious. It feels like it's been one or the other here recently. It's either we've been flooded or we've been droughted. Okay, there's Mauser. I'm fine with playing Arcbound Mauser here and just passing. We have the scale we can drop in to just screw up their combat math a little bit, but then we also have the Greatsword. Like if they attack here, I'm fine with just... I feel like I'm fine with just taking this, honestly. I think I'm just going to take this. I'm just going to leave scale in hand. Too bad scale doesn't give it like hexproof, right? Well, that's annoying. That's super annoying. I was going to play that Greatsword this turn, opponent. I don't appreciate that very much. Just play Razor Tide Bridge next turn and start punching with the Greatsword. That's what my plan is. Gets in with the Companion. Taps for 3, Inspiring Overseer, sure. We get a Deadly Dispute. I don't have the black mana for it, but let's start growing our Mauser here. Tap you down. Gain 2 life, hit you for 2. Well, we'll see if the old adage is true. Does Great Sword of Tyr, or how you say it. No! Our little cat. How dare you do this to us? We might just have all the sideboard hate now in the deck. We need another critter. Okay, Thoughtcast will let us draw some cards here. Vault Whispers. My thing is, like, do I want to Volta Whispers and then, like, kill Glaze Fiend and us not be able to Deadly Dispute it? I don't care. Let's see what they do. We have scale for what it's worth, but it's not going to do a whole lot. Another thing to think is that, like, our deck is obviously super artifact heavy. And the problem with, you know, Affinity being a T1 deck is the fact that... I'm just going to take this. Is the fact that... You know what? I will chump. I mean, we lose our critter, but that was a bad move. That was a bad play. Is with like Affinity being such a strong deck right now, it's kind of risky biscuits to play such a heavy artifact deck because there's just so much hatred for it. Wow. We can't find our critters. Could find an Arms of Hadar though. Salt. I'm not that salty, but we can use the emote because it's cool. Yeah, Arms of Hadar would be awesome. It would be really good. It'd be a really good draw because then we could also just lean back on Blood Fountain a little bit. Nope, we draw another land. All right, let's just go Goldmire Bridge and we'll crack this fountain here to try to pick up our Glaze Fiend. We'll probably cycle the blood token too. Well, I guess we don't have mana to do both. We'll probably just cycle the blood token here. They could just have another Guardian's Pledge and we're dead though. Another Spirited Companion. Never saw you really salty anyway. You should watch that Affinity League I ran not too long ago. I was pretty high caloric there. Oh my god, another land? Terrier is pronounced like tier. 1, 2. We gotta find arms or we're just... Alright. Oh, our opponent didn't... Did we lose game 1? I thought we won game 1. Was that game 3 maybe? I don't know. Tier when the opponent is crying, true. What tier is this deck? Well, it looks good against red burn / aggros. I 3 maybe. We might break in at tier 3. It's definitely competitive. Like we've won a good handful of games with this deck. We're still working on iterations of it and stuff. The burn matchup and stuff, it just really depends. A lot of our life gain and stuff is through lifelink. So it's tricky whether or not if we actually get these hands. Today I'm going to say the deck is like tiered it's like tier 0 because I just cannot draw anything. Contaminated Aqueduct? Terror maybe? I'm just going to lead on Vault Scourge here. We get hit splash damage from the anti-artifact Sideboard hate. Yes, we do. That's what I was like trying to get at. It's like, what is happening here? Okay, that was weird. I don't know. I'm just clicking around, I guess. But yeah, so like it's not. I don't know. I'd have to look back at what our record is against burn and stuff, but it's hit or miss. I will say it's running better with the tooth. Well, at least with the scale. The scale's been pretty good as a blocker for ourselves here. I can't help but think they have a counterspell here, which makes me wonder if I even want to try to Mandible Justicar here. Let's just hard cast Vault Scourge. Yeah, the artifact hate meta sounds very harmful. It is. You know, we're running against a meta that a lot of the sideboard is artifact hate. And we're running a deck that's more vulnerable to artifact hate than Affinity is. So this is like one of those decks, like if Affinity gets a major ban or if Affinity has a falling off, this is probably a deck that would run hotter. But as it is, it's a little bit shaky. But it's a very fun deck. Like I think this is more enjoyable to play than they're playing fairies. Well, there's the Fae deck. Throw in the salt emote. I think this is a funner deck to play than Affinity, because it's kind of like a pseudo combo-y deck, which I find really fun. I'm just gonna attack here and see what our opponent does. They're going to block. I'm fine with this trade-off. Let's attempt to play Mandible Justicar here. Salt. Yeah, the new salt emote. Let's get some use out of it. It's awesome. We are one new member away from unlocking even more emotes. Here's the counter spell. Nope, they're gonna let it go. Cool. They probably have suffocating fumes, which would suck. Or they just have snuff out. Okay. Snuff out's also really good against us. We don't have like hardly any protection spells. Our protection spells are the tooths and the shield and the scales. I keep saying shield because it looks like a shield. But we are one new member away from unlocking more emotes. So if you want to support the channel in that way, you can consider becoming a member. There's a link in the description. I'm just going to play out a Blood Fountain. Because, I mean, worst case is, like, if we draw nothing next turn, we can try to pick up. Nope. I don't care if this is ultra aggressive. I hate Spell Stutter Sprite. Get wrecked. If you want to Spell Pierce this, I'm fine with that, but I can't stand Spell Stutter Sprite. It's like one of the most tilting cards to me. But yeah, we're one new member away from unlocking some more emotes. What is this? Face down card. Okay. I've never seen something like this before. Return 2 islands you control to their owner's hand. That's interesting. Need a fairy on a skewer emote. That'd be awesome. It's a 1/3, but it doesn't have flying, so let's get in there, Volt Scourge. We'll wait to see what they do to us in response here. This will probably be the last game of the day. 2 lands. I played against that card in a mill deck I played against. That's interesting. Because I'm trying to get a video wrapped up before work for my movie channel. But I wanted to try to get at least 3 games in with this version and kind of talk about it real quick. So UB Fairy runs so much spot removal. I know. And we're very weak to spot removal. We do have the recommissions on the side, though. So there is that. Free deck with Jace's Erasure. I haven't played against Jace's Erasure in a long time. I always kind of like that weird, like, Jace's Eraser mill deck that didn't rely on, like, Turbo Fogs. I've played against ones black and blue, or just black, I mean, just blue, sorry, where they just try to mill you out a bunch. I always like that. Alright, so we can play Goldmire Bridge, we can play the Arcbound Mauser, and crack the Flooded Strand. I mean, the Flooded Strand. The Blood Fountain. I don't even know where that came from. Arcbound Mauser, baby. Oh, I know you want to counter that. Nope. Okay. We'll crack this Blood Fountain. But I'm assuming they have Terror in their deck, and we don't beat a Terror with what we've been drawing. Only game I got to play today was against Fairies. Yikes. I know, it's never fun. They're going to hit us for 1-3. Depending on the black-blue version, they are running Echoing Decay for their attempt for multi-creature removal. I don't think most versions runs Fumes main. Potentially. Again, scale blanks that, so if we can draw scale, that would be pretty good. Let's return some cards to our hand here. And let's draw something. Land again. Vault Scourge. Mandible. It's going to get counterspelled. What hurts me is that it's usually the archetype I love the most, Tempo, but seeing it all the time makes it so annoying. I mean, that's fair. It's not my favorite thing by any means. I kind of hate the deck. But I hate blue control decks, and that's because of my cousin, so we could just be walking into a board wiper here. Agony Wrap, sure. It is what it is. But that's because of my cousin. My cousin played blue control decks for a long time, and it's just annoying. It's that competitive nature where you're against your like family member. Because me and my cousin are pretty close, and so it's like he's playing that. So I obviously want to beat him every time we play, right? We're both a little competitive like that, so it's like he plays the blue control deck, and so anytime I play against the blue control deck, I'm just like, I want to beat this deck so bad. How dare you be that annoying? You know what I mean? I'm that guy. Don't be that guy. Should have cycled the blood token by now. Let's just lead on Blood Fountain here. See what our opponent does. Spell Stutter Sprite it. You're annoying. You have a hard counter spell for this one, opponent? Yep. Wow, you're really fucking annoying. Throw in that salt emote. Throw it in there. Get that salt emote up and running. I will say though, whenever we get more emotes unlocked, I do want like a welcome emote made up. I think it'd be cool for when someone like first joins the stream or becomes a new member, we could spam like a welcome emote. I think that'd be pretty cool. Thorn of the Black Rose. All right, we probably just lose to this. I almost never get a match against Bogles anymore. Same. I couldn't tell you the last time I played Bogles. And the deck's really good. Like, it's still a good deck. So, like... Alright, I'm just going to scoop it. Let's just go to game 2. Arms of Hadair and Recommission. It's kind of all we have that's really that interesting against our opponent. I do like Greatsword here. I still like Cast Down. I still like Deadly Dispute. I still like the Tooth and the Scales. I don't like Blood Fountain as much. It gets hit from Spellstutter Sprite really easily. This is the hard part. It's like figuring out. I think we can go out the Arcbound Mausers. It gets hit too easy. We'll go down one tooth. Try it like that. Yeah, Bogles is still like a good deck. So I've been listening. I binged the podcast Casting Commons that Teasdale MTG is doing. And like they say every time, like Bogles is like putting up results. It's just nobody's playing it. And so I'm just curious, like, does just everybody hate that deck or something? Because I like Bogles. I want to play Bogles at some point. I just don't have the Ancestral Masks because they're really expensive for whatever reason. They went down in price quite a bit. They were like at $10 when I first looked to build Bogles, and now they're more at like the $4 to $5 range. So I might have to jump on them while they're low. What are they right now? $482 for the old art, which I like the old art better. So they're $482, so pretty good. Not too bad. I will go first. I will keep this hand hesitantly though. I'm not crazy about this hand. Let's lead on Goldmire Bridge and pass. I did forget to go down a land, didn't I? I was gonna go down. I was gonna change a land out, and I forgot to do that. Fairy Seer, sure. Our deck is also pretty susceptible to fairies because Spellstutter Sprite counters 90% of our deck. So that is also something that's worth mentioning, is that Fairy Seer just not Fairy Seer. I did that wrong. That Spellstutter Sprite counters majority of our deck, which is pretty upsetting. But I do like the 8 of the Tooth effects, the 8 of the Chisgoro effects, like a lot. Like a lot. I think it's pretty solid. They just have a straight counter spell for this, more than likely. I'm actually tempted to just pass here. Let's let them be more reactionary, and then we can try to be more combo-y. I wish Thoughtcast was instant speed. Oh, and just to let y'all know, if you're watching this, probably well, not probably, there is no player profile this weekend, but I have a couple more scheduled, so it's just working. It's one, it's finding players to do it, content creators to do it, and then 2 is to work out a schedule. So it's probably not a show that will be weekly, but if I have an episode, I'll upload it on Saturdays. So if I have an episode, it'll be up on Saturdays. If I don't, then it just won't, just won't be. Our opponent is stuck on black mana, which is kind of cool, but I almost guarantee they're going to counter this Thoughtcast, but I'm going to go for it. Yep. All right. Well, we got a counter spell out of their hand to hopefully protect this Arms of Hadir. It does suck we're only getting one creature. Maybe we're too low on creatures. I mean, we did side 2 out, though. I do think with the Tooth and the Chiz, maybe we need to be at 6. Maybe we need to be a 2-2 split. Because, like, right now, they're kind of pointless. Well, let's just try to play Mandible Justicar. Cool. Went through. I'm still not going to attack here. They probably have a cast down, snuff out, something along those lines for this Mandible Justicar, I would assume. I'm assuming it doesn't live, I wish this was Scale. Scale would... No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't stop Agony Twist. There's another Fairy Seer. What are they going to do with their Scry? 1 top, 1 bottom? Spellbomb? Why'd they bring Spellbomb against us? Does anybody know why they brought Spellbomb against us? Is it just because of Blood Fountain? I don't know. Maybe they had some dead cards in their hand, like in their deck, that wouldn't have been that good against us. We can attack with Mandible Justicar here. We can flash in a Tooth. if they want to chump. I imagine they chump here. Throw in Tooth. And we also have Deadly Dispute for if they want to snuff out. We get another Tooth. Those are some bad draws. All right. Yeah, we're having problems this matchup finding threats. So maybe we need some, like, you know, Mirror Enforcer would probably be pretty good as a threat, honestly. I really like the Arcbound Mausers, like, a lot, but yeah, I'm starting to think, like, our opponent's tapped out. How do you get to flip it? Just return the... Okay. Pretty good. Doesn't die to Arms of Hadar. Well... That does, though. Arms you. Let's just clean off their board a little bit. Attack you for 2. There's an argument for attacking them for 4 here, but I still like trying to hold these for combo-y pieces. Yeah, I think we could bring in something like a Mirror Enforcer. I think we need like an additional creature threat. I think we're too low on creatures right now. So I definitely feel like bringing in another creature threat would be pretty good. There's also an argument for like Ornithopter because we have the tooths. So there's also an argument for Ornithopter coming in too. I don't know which would be better though. Mirror Enforcer feels better. I had another Fairy Seer, which is super annoying. I imagine they have another removal spell. My dog's yipping in his sleep. Oh. He dreams so hard. He works so hard around this house. Making sure all the cushions are nice and mushed down. Make sure his hair gets everywhere. You know what I mean? He works hard. He deserves a snap. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, Ornithopter could be good because of the tooths, right? A 0-drop's not too bad in terms of, like, getting creatures out. It's also a 0/2, which is kind of relevant. I don't know. We could try an Ornithopter build, or we could try a Mirror Enforcer build. What's everybody who's watching right now? What are your opinions on that? Ornithopter, Mirror Enforcer. Can you do polls on here? Oh, sweet, we can. Check this out. I just figured this out. Boom. We can do a poll. How cool is that? I didn't know that was a thing. They have another Fairy Seer, which they topped and bottomed again. They're going to be out of Fairy Seers here. They're going to take this one. I don't want to play into Spellstutter Sprite here. We might have to, though. It depends on what the deck is trying to do. If it's trying to combo out like Kennel Fiend deck, then Ornithopter, Phyrexian Walker, etc. will pump the creatures and for a faster win. Oh, that went through. Turn off auto yields, just in case. If trying to play mid range, I'd like I'd like play Glaze Fiend, Mandible, Foundry Inspector, and Mirror Enforcer with cards that interact with the opponent, removal, disruption, etc. Why don't we do the Infinity combo with Glaze Fiend? What's the Infinity combo, Darius? I'm not sure I fully know that one. What's Foundry Inspector? Hold on. Foundry Inspector. Ethereum Spinner combo. Make homie infinitely big. Foundry Inspector is artifact spells cost 1 less, and I'm not that crazy on that one. They're gonna get a ninja this turn, which is kind of crappy for us, but it is what it is. Ethereum Spinner. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter token. That one could be, but like, okay, so I feel like this deck is a little bit more of a combo. Like, I don't feel like Glaze Fiend and Mandible Justica, and I don't like we could talk about this. I don't feel like this deck is a mid-range deck. I feel like this deck is, what are they going to do? Top bottom? I feel like this deck's kind of a pseudo combo deck, you know. Dump all of your cards onto the field and then attack. I can't remember the name. The whale. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I feel like this deck is like a, this spell stutter sprite here. This will probably force a reaction though from our opponent. And comes in the removal. Play another tooth. Okay. All right, Mandible lives. Mandible grows. Attack you for 6. We've only drawn 2 creatures this whole game. Sorry, I got off train of thought there. Stuff was happening. Should have activated the tooths. They could have had 2 more damage done to them. We could have gained 2 more life. That was dumb on my end. What was I saying? I feel like this is kind of a pseudo combo deck where you're just playing these creatures to punch, and that's why I think like Ornithopter is a card that is free to play, and it kind of grows our stuff, but it's not like the best attacker, you know what I mean? I am going to block to try to get them not to draw a card here and to maybe trade. We should have Tormod's Crypt sideboard. I think so too. I think we need to look at the sideboard a little bit. But that's also why I think like something like there's GurDaddy. Something like Mirror Enforcer would be good because Mirror Enforcer would be mostly free most of the time. And it adds another threat, and we already have several large threats on board. So like that's my argument to like, you know, what to choose. What happens if I attack here? They have to block it or they probably die, right? Throws in the Gurmag Angler. Pump. 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 Play another one. How many cards in opponent's hand? 4. Pump. And let's see if we can do this. Nope. Spell stutter sprite. No, just hard counter spell. Okay. All right. Well, we trade off here. We gain a bunch of life, and then we can just they have the Nile spell bomb, I guess, don't they? Guess I didn't pay attention to the Nile spell bomb. They're gonna preordain. It's been a long match, but I feel like we're kind of a combo-y deck, so I feel like Mirror Enforcer is the threat, but then also like we're playing all these tooths and stuff, right? So like Ornithopter could be a pretty solid addition too. So I don't know. I'm kind of in this like in between on it. I guess what we could do is just try both at some point and just see which one we like better. You know? I just want to scoot, but I probably shouldn't. They're at 6 and we're at 36. Turn off auto yields. I don't want them to crack this spell bomb in response to something. We could try to crack the blood fountain now, because then they don't they don't get a draw off of it. So I kind of like this play here. If they want to crack the spell bomb, they can, because like I said, they don't get a draw off of it. So I'm kind of fine with this. We've only drawn 2 creatures out of the top 20 cards in our deck. I'm off to work. We'll see you, Pigeon. Have a good day at work. Thanks again for the salt emote. I love it. I super appreciate it. You did an awesome job. Enjoy your day at work. Hopefully it goes pretty smooth and goes by pretty quick. And we'll catch you next time. A lot of you guys are saying Mirror Enforcer. I guess 3 of 4 of you are saying Mirror Enforcer, so we probably lean into Mirror Enforcer. Try it out. But yeah, have a good rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the Discord. Arms. Well, what else are we doing, right? Arms. You have to find much of our creatures, though. Yeah, we could go... Let's just type in Mirror Enforcer real quick. We could go Mirror Enforcer. I like the Arcbound Mauser, but I'm starting to think maybe the Arcbound Mauser is just too little, too slow, and too weak. So, we're out of Arms of Fadir, but I think we still have... Yeah, we still have 2 cast downs on the deck. Our opponent's running pretty hot now, though. It's going to be hard to get out. Like, our opponent's just going to have answers, and we're only going to draw, like, nothing. I'm just going to concede for time. I want to talk about the deck. So, question. Who won between us versus that White Weenie deck? I thought we won. But, like, we scooped and then the game closed. Hold on. It'll tell me. Game history. Is there like a way to like sort for most recent? Okay, so we lost to the... I didn't realize we lost one of the games. Oh yeah, we mulliganed to 0. Yeah, basically. Okay, now I remember now. I remember. So we're 1-2 with today. Game 1 was conceded because we didn't draw but in land on multi-mulligan, I thought, yeah, you're right. I had to look it back up to remember. So we just mulled to nothing and couldn't get land. So first off, I'm going to go down a Razor Bridge. We're going to go up a Vault of Whispers here. I think that's change number 1 we're going to make. But then number 2 is we have Mirror Enforcer. I'm just going to add 4 to deck. And then we have Ornithopter. I don't think I have any Ornithopters. I don't. So I'd have to order some. All right. So Mirror Enforcer. My thought for Mirror Enforcer is we could go out Arcbound Mauser. I like Arcbound Mauser a lot, but we're not really activating it very much. You know what I mean? And I feel like it'd probably be better if we just have like Mirror Enforcer. Mirror Enforcer also works well with Greatsword, I feel like. It makes... But then you have the Lifelink. Greatsword would also work well with Ornithopter. Where's our Greatswords? We only got to Greatsword 1 time today, which is super upsetty spaghetti. I would have liked to have activated Greatsword a couple times. You know what I mean? That would have been really cool. But we didn't get to, which is Tormod's. I know I have Tormod script. We didn't get to activate Greatsword, which is really at all today, which is kind of upsetting. I wanted to try out more Greatswords. Let's bring in the Mirror Enforcers. We have a few more arguments. We have another vote for Ornithopter. But I'm going to end the poll for right now. That's cool though. I really like knowing that we have that as an option in the future to open up a poll to have people to vote in chat to like for changes and stuff. So like this would have, if I would have known this was a thing yesterday when we was talking about mono blue sack, that would have been really cool to do. So mentally noted for the future. But yeah, we barely got to activate Greatsword. Greatsword is just seems, honestly, this card is winning me over the more we see it. This just feels like a super strong card. Thanks to our scales and stuff, I feel like Mirror Enforcer is probably going to be pretty good to get out wide with our scales. And then we also have like Thoughtcast and Deadly Dispute for draws. Like, yeah, I think we just needed a few more threats. I like Arcbound Mauser. I just don't feel like Arcbound Mauser is enough of a threat. And I also feel like we could probably go down a scale and a tooth because I felt like we drew too many of them, and then they're kind of just dead cards if we don't have Mandible, if we don't have Glaze Fiend. Like if we don't have anything to do with them, they're kind of just a dead draw. So I feel like maybe we were drawing a little bit too much. It's always obvious when I'm typing on my phone. Text is almost incomprehensible. No worries. No worries. So yeah, I feel like Mirror Enforcer is probably going to be a good addition. And then I think going 8 on the tooth scale effects, while it was cool to just like dump them, you know, and like hit hard with Mandible and Glaze Fiend, I feel like we probably could go down them. You know what I mean? I feel like 6 is probably good. And actually, if I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like 4 scales and 2 tooths are probably the better number. But let's try a 3-3 split next time. You know, if we feel like we need scale, we'll throw scale in. The thing with scale is it just makes combat math for our deck so much better. Like, honestly, like our deck in particular, it just makes the combat math so much better. But we'll try a 3-3 split. This is a deck that I think is shaping and has been shaping up into something pretty special. In all honesty, like no lie. Like I feel like this has been shaping up to be something pretty special. Excuse me. And because of that, I really just like this deck a lot. I think there's real potential here. I think Glaze Fiend and Mandible Justicar can just close out games super fast. I think Greatsword is strong. I think there's a really solid deck here that I think is pretty competitive. And I think we're just trying to balance it out just right. You know what I mean? We're just trying to get those right pieces in there to kind of balance this out to get this just right. And in terms of our decks that we've been doing this with, between this and Hijack Hijinks, I feel like this deck is getting closer to the finish line. I really like this deck a lot. So we'll be playing this again. We may take a week break on this one because I've had a ton of suggestions for the mono blue sack deck that seems like a deck that a lot of people really dug. So we currently have like 3 or 4 versions of this deck to try out that I want to come back to with this deck. So maybe we'll take a week off of Esper Blade and then come back to it later. We've also been playing this deck pretty consistently since it was submitted. So I feel like we're getting to a point too where we can kind of take maybe a step back, a little bit of a breather from it and come back to it. So for right now, I think like I like this. I like the look of this. So maybe we can skip a week or so from it and look at some other stuff and come back to it. That's what I think I'm going to do. We had, like I said, a lot of suggestions for the mono blue sack, so we can try out different iterations of it. The hijack hijinks we're still working on. We're still like trying to figure this deck out of like what it wants to do. And I feel like this version we ran last time felt pretty good. So I would like to run it some more and get some more games in. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We're trying to figure stuff out. And then I have, like I said, a litany of decks to try out. So for now, my voice is going out apparently. For now, I think that's where I'm going to leave y'all for the weekend. Don't know if I'm going to be playing any this weekend or streaming any this weekend. We'll just see how the weekend unfolds. If I do, make sure your notifications are turned on. Be notified anytime I go live. If I do stream, I will probably try to give the Discord a little bit of a heads up beforehand. But if you're watching this and you made it this far, maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already. Liking the video, commenting, and sharing the video all go a long way in helping my channel out. And you can consider becoming a member. Link in the description to that. I think I've said that enough this stream. But anyway, once again, thank you, Raging Bull, for the deck suggestion. Thank you again, Pigeon, for the custom emote. I love it. And thank you, everybody who's, thank you to all the members in the Discord. It's been awesome. Thank you for everybody who is watching, commenting, and putting in chat. I love to read the comments. I love to read the deck suggestions. It's been fun. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will hopefully catch you maybe this weekend, if not Monday. So, well, actually, don't know if I'll be streaming Monday and Friday. That's when I have those interviews. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes out. But anyway, have a wonderful time, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.